Hello. So this lecture is about one of the most popular and well-known or widely used JavaScript library, namely jQuery. So this is just introduction to this jQuery library. So what is this jQuery library? It's a library that allows JavaScript programmers to write less and do more. It's a lightweight library, very popular. Simplifies, of course, the JavaScript coding and make it much easier to use JavaScript on your website. Now, sometimes you have a task that you can write in so many lines, and if you opt for jQuery, you're going to do the same thing with one line, one single line. So you're going to wrap all that task in one line. Thus, the do more with less code. This is from Wikipedia. So as like any, actually, jQuery encourages separation of JavaScript from the structure, or the responsiveness from the structure, which you should do even if you use your own files. jQuery is very brief, simple, and clear, eliminates cross-browser incompatibility. You're going to see this one later on, and allows for you to extend their elements and events and news. Events. Now, this is a very simple example to show that with simple 2 lines or 1 line, we can do a task with jQuery. And if you want to use the same task with the vanilla JavaScript or the plain JavaScript, we have to write a very long code here. So here, see guys, we're gonna look for an anchor and prevent that anchor from firing up whenever the user click on that the hyperlink. Now, in plain JavaScript, we have to find or add an event listener for the DOM content loaded, and wait until the whole web page has been loaded. Then we will run the code here. Now, in the code here, we try to find an array of or collection of hyperlinks, access the very first one, and associate or add an event listener, a clicking event listener to that very first hyperlink. Then execute this function, prevent the default, or this is what you call the prevent default. This is what we do if you want to stop an event from firing up. And since add event listener cannot be supported by old browsers, namely, or for instance, IE7, we could go and use this code for compatibility to handle the compatibility issue, where we use attach event that is understood by old IE browsers. Now, if you want to do this with the jQuery, it's going to be only 2 lines. All right, see here, just the $ function, $ find the and the anonymous function, yes, and we prevent the event from firing up. This code is equivalent to this one. We're going to see later on the syntax and $, but this is just to show you that is really sometimes very, very interesting to use jQuery to do more with less code. Now, jQuery has been initially, if you like, designed to mainly manipulate the DOM, okay, to find the elements. Remember the get element by ID, by tag name, the query selector all. So now it's taken or handled by jQuery in a very, very brief and simple way. It has been also designed to manipulate the CSS with very simple functions, events or HTML events, and handling the AJAX. AJAX, for some people it's difficult, but because maybe they didn't went into more details or low-level details to understand the mechanisms. But anyways, some people, they still don't know how to use AJAX in the plain JavaScript, but when they use jQuery, for them it's very easy, because jQuery simplifies the syntax in a very, very easy way. And other than that, the DOM, the AJAX, and the CSS, jQuery also handles some animations and catchy effects. Now, how do you use jQuery? You have 2 ways. Either you download your own copy from their website and use it in your local host, that this is your hosted copy, or you link to a content delivery network, an external one from Google or Microsoft. So you can use either one, or you can use, I want to show you later on where you're going to use one as an alternative of the other one. But the best way here, or the best solution, is to use the CDN, not rely or not use your own if you want to, if you are looking for efficiency. So let's talk about first the downloading your own version. So you're going to go to their website. All right, and they have, this is the latest version here. Yeah, they have the compressed one, and it's production, for production. If you're, and see it's compressed, guys. All right, so this is the jQuery, the whole library in one file. Or you can go with the uncompressed, and for development, if you are still developing your web application. Now, uncompressed, you are still under development, and you use uncompressed because you have your comments, indentation, and you can debug it. I mean, debug it in line with your own JavaScript files. But if once you are done and you have plugged in your jQuery and everything is smooth, you're gonna use the compressed one, which is this one here. All right, once you put your website into production. All right. So and if you want to use CDN rather than the one that you downloaded and you put in your web server, you can link to the Google API or ASP.NET CDN, which is from Microsoft. All right, now to be honest here, the best solution is to use the API or the CDN, the one from Google or Microsoft. Why? For at least two reasons here. If you use the API from Google or Microsoft, chances that your end users who are using your website, they might have used some website before accessing yours, and from those other websites they might have used jQuery. So once they access the other websites, the browser that they are using will download the jQuery and put it in the cache. Now, once they visit yours, they will find the jQuery already in the cache. So efficiency-wise, it's really good to use the CDN. Another one is that if you use the CDN in contrast with yours that you hosted in your web server, very remote, or you have thousands of, or maybe hundreds of thousands of users accessing your local version that is in your web server, and traffic wise, and your web server might be very remote or very remote with regards to some of your users, and it's not really efficient. But if you use the CDN, the people in Google they are more powerful than your website or your web server. They have many web servers, by the way, and well optimized. And whenever the user access to jQuery for the first time, this CDN will find the best or the closest web server for your end user to serve them the jQuery. So unless you think that the Google or the Microsoft, their web server will go down for some time, and that is very unlikely, you're gonna supply your own version. All right, but I'm gonna show you how to do that. Now, the syntax of jQuery, by the way, is about simplifying things. So instead of having this long and jargon and coding, I mean long syntax and functions, document.get element by tag name, but document.get element by ID, and you have to remember we're gonna simplify all this with $sign. So $sign is the function. It's a sign or a symbol that means a function, and that function actually is called jQuery. Okay, so to access, I'm going to tell you about the jQuery function itself later on. So to access any selector, anything, you have to use $sign selector. Remember, guys, here the brackets or the parentheses. This means your $sign is a function. Okay, and once you access the selector or the element, you get hold of the element, you're gonna apply an action on that element. That's the DOM, or that's how jQuery manipulates the DOM. Your selector can be anything like an element, a tag, an ID, a class. It can be type, equal. It can use, or the selector here is the same syntax as the one we use in the query selector. Remember query selector and query selector all? All right. So this is some examples of the query selector, the inside here, and I'm not gonna go through them because you have seen them in the DOM when we saw DOM. I believe many of you, they are quite good with this selector. Now the $sign is the jQuery itself. Okay, let me show you the example first. I'm gonna go and see an example here. So I have an example here. Okay, let me. I wanted to do the and I'm gonna use the CDN version. So I have my CDN version here. As you can see, jQuery min. This is a compressed, minimized version from Google. So I'm saving here. And this is about to click on a button and toggle, which is hide and show all the paragraphs at once. Once I click on the button, I will hide them all. Another time, I will show them all. So let me go through this and run it here. I have 3 paragraphs. Now see, if I click, it's not working because jQuery is not recognized. And can you see a $sign is not defined? Why? Because my JavaScript here, if I meant, or my intention is that my JavaScript here can use, let me show you the JavaScript, can use the $sign, as you can see a $sign, all right, or the jQuery function. I need to put it, or put the jQuery before. All right, there's no hosting here, variable hosting. So if this is gonna use this has to be defined before this one. Save, refresh. Now no more error, and I can toggle or hide and show the 3 paragraphs here. All right. We're gonna talk about the syntax later on. Now another way is to use this, the local version. And I'm going to remove this. And in here, it's a source, and I'm going to put this jQuery. I already downloaded the version, okay, from the internet, and I named it jQuery 350. Min means compressed. Can you see it's compressed? Remember, guys, here from here. So this is the compressed here. Just copy and paste it and name it with this fine name here. And so I'm going to go back here and put the name there. So it's a jQuery 3.5.0 dot minimize version .js. So I'm going to remove it for a while, Control S, just to see that I have no Java jQuery. Refresh. You see there is no jQuery and it's not working. I'm clicking here, and once I put the local version, Control S, now it should be working. No, probably the name, or so no, it's the folder, so I have to put the folder JS, the name jQuery 350. All right, and I refresh. And nothing is there. Good. So if I click here, it's working with the local version. Just now, so we have seen to work with the CDN version and the locally hosted version. Now, which one is better? To tell you the truth, we have seen this earlier, it's the CDN, but for some reason, I mean, which I don't think you have that. I mean, the Google or the Microsoft web server is down, and you need to use your own. So what do? You can use an alternative. Okay, so I'm gonna include that one there, and I'm gonna create here a script that says if jQuery is not defined, so upload my own version. So I'm going to write here a tiny code, a small code. So if the jQuery is not defined, jQuery, by the way, guys, let me show you here. jQuery is this. So see here, if I do $, it's a function. Can you see it's a function, guys? So if I do $, hey, find all the anchor. It finds the two, guys. Can you see them? I'm going to hover here, and you have to look here in the screen. So this is the very first one, and this is the second one. Now that's the $, which is the jQuery. Now jQuery or $, which is replacing a function called jQuery, which is defined in the jQuery library, of course. So it's the same thing. Either use $, or jQuery is the same thing. It's the alias, if you like. Again, guys, if I hover on here, okay, if I hover here, it's the first one, the second one. Now jQuery or $, is replacing much of the DOM things here. So this one is equivalent to document.get elements by, in this case, by tag name, which is a function, and is giving me the A here. This will give me HTML collection, but this is a function, guys. Okay, this is a function that is applied on the anchor here. Now this $, belongs to window now. Okay, it's a window object, or I can use jQuery. Let's use a P here. You see, guys, it's the first P. I'm going to hover here, so it's paragraph number 1. This is P note paragraph number 2, and I'm hovering in number 2 here, or the third one, which is the test one. Okay, paragraph number 3. So it's the jQuery or $, are attached to the window now. All right. So to find whether they exist, I just have to say if window, or just directly. Remember, guys, if $, console.log, let's say jQuery found, else jQuery not found. So you see here, when I run this, yes, it's found. Why? Because it's already there here. Okay. Now I'm going to use the same thing. So if $, define, what do I do? Sorry, if not defined, I'm going to include this one. So how do I include things in my HTML? Is document.write. And since this is run at the very beginning, after this 2 has been done, this will be in this place here. So write what? I'm going to write this HTML. Okay? And semicolon here, of course, is an instruction. Now, this has to be escaped. Okay? The /. Of course, you cannot escape, you don't have to escape this one because it's already in the quotation here. All right? So, and there's a mistake here. What is the mistake? Script. No, sorry, you don't escape it here because it's well formed. My strings here, so it's here the begin here, it's the end here, and this is, so it's well formed string. So let's say that this is down or the file is not found. I'm gonna rename it whatever. Can you see here, guys? Control S. So I'm gonna remove this. So what's working here? Maybe the It's not working. Can you see? Now, when I do my if here, if $ is not found, we're gonna include this one, include the whole script here to our HTML. So when you do this, now it's working. Now see here, guys. If I go to F12, sorry, I'm already in F12. If I go to the elements here, you will see it here, added. Here, sorry, in the body. Can you see it? So we have our jQuery file here. All right. I'm going to remove this. All right, I've seen. So this one we have seen. Now let's go with the syntax. So $ is the same as jQuery function, and everything is about using the $ to access and manipulate your HTML DOM and events as well. Now we're gonna do this example here. Now the very first $ is equivalent to the document add event listener DOM content loaded. So I'm gonna use an example here to access. So I'm gonna go to my JS files. This is hide all my paragraphs. You're gonna see it later on. Now if I want to yeah, it's already here. Okay, so this $ is exactly the same as document dot add event listener and DOM content loaded, and you start your anonymous function and you put all your JavaScript here. Okay, so this part here is this exactly the same thing as this part here, and the function of course will be this one. All right. Okay, now if I want to get hold of my A here, this A and this one, we have two here A's. Okay, so I can use document.get element by tag name or query selector and find the A, but here I can do just $ and go to A, and I find all my A's, and I'm gonna attach the action here. Okay, and the action can be a click. You know, here I'm gonna do a click. So this is really similar to document.get element by tag name, or you can use query selector if you like, A, and add event listener, and you are using click. Can you see, guys? It's very long here, and you're gonna use your function here. All right, so all this is similar to this. All right, so on click, what do we do? We're gonna put a function here, handler or event handler, and in this function, what do? We're gonna prevent the link from firing up. So this is the example here. So we're gonna use an anonymous function where we use event prevent default. So function needs the parameters, of course. If that has no parameter, at least I have to use the bracket. So event here, and here we can use event dot prevent default. Prevent default is inhibit a submission or inhibit the event from firing up. Okay, we use this one in the form submission, remember last time? So before that, I can just write a console log here. So console dot log links won't be fired, or follow. Save, and that's it. Semicolon here. Begin and end. Okay, this begin is for the other one. Save, and refresh. Did I miss something? Yeah, it's this one. Save. I'm using the CDN, okay, version. Now this is working. No, not working. I disabled it. Now if I click here, you see links won't be followed. Number 2, number 2, see, it's not following. It's here, it's not following. So all right. So the $sign is the same thing as document add event listener .dom content loaded, or the deprecated version, which is document ready. All right. So the goal here is to prevent jQuery code from running until the whole DOM has been loaded, until all the page has been loaded. So the very first one here is about running the function once the HTML has been fully loaded. All right, so that's it for part number 1. In part number 2, we're gonna dive into more details and advanced stuff in jQuery.